Right, so take 500 and we are working with the new software that pulls the actual physical damage from the contact incidents. So we're having a change of process where before the criteria was done on three things. Was there visual damage? Did the car need to be saved, or was it knocked off of the racing line? Was there any mitigated circumstances? That's changing, or has changed, to if there is physical damage pulled from LMU in the report, that will be viewed, and if there is a blame for it, then a penalty will be applied. For the sort of the light to tap-ins that previously got a penalty from visual damage, the criteria has changed. So if there's no physical damage reported, was an advantage gained by the incident? If there isn't, and there was no damage reported, it will be an NFA. If there was advantage gained, then the penalty starts at 10 seconds plus a license point. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. Right. So on the week
anyway.
Yeah.
I've been through it a lot.
Yes, we've been through the mill with it, but it is working.
We're here.
Yeah. So first one to look at is Jorge and Mark Cooley at 240. No damage reported, which was that one.
Right. Nothing in it.
Nothing in it. Dan Wilson and Paul Garnham at 242, which is that one. And you can actually see the visual damage it's caused there, but no damage reported. So it's just cosmetic. Anyway, Daniel Moffat at 248 with Morn. Which is that one. Right, this is the first one we've reported damage. So Chris Williams and Mark. Let's move the things out of the way. Right, so
let's have a little looky.
Mark Williams, Chris Williams, sorry. So does Mark Chris leave space?
Yes, he did. Right. He's not turning for the apex, is he?
No, there's plenty of space.
Yeah. And Mark's coming out.
Yeah. Coming away.
Yeah, coming away from the apex and sort of on the line just straight into his rear wheel.
Not going to give me a nice shot, is it?
No, it never does.
But you can see there that he's coming away from the apex, and when we looked at this one before, we noticed that Mark had no steering, throttle or brake inputs.
Yeah, he let off the throttle, but that was it.
Yeah.
So he's coasting.
Yeah.
Into it.
Yes. And we feel that had a dab of the brakes been applied, this perhaps wouldn't have ended up. So,
or if Mark had been tighter and sort of, because generally, that curb's quite useful there. But he did wait. He
did
didn't
wait.
nickel the cut across the grass there either.
No,
So well done for that.
he did wait. So Chris Williams reported suspension damage, and Mark actually had suspension damage from it as well. But it's it's a first lap, 20 seconds. Reduced to 10. God. Used to 10 seconds for avoidable incident, plus 1 license point. Next one is Errol and Remy at 250.
Oh, right. Okay, I see. I'm like, why are you going backwards with Mark?
Let's get back to the time. Yeah. No damage reported.
Oh, there we go.
So
concertina effect at that corner.
Yeah, previously Aero would have got a penalty for this.
Yeah.
Was an advantage gained? No, he's let Remy go on, hasn't he? So no damage caused. So it's an NFA. Mm-hmm. Aero and Cookie as well, just which was there. Yeah, which is just caused by the initial incident, so that's all good. Daniel Borchette and Remy 309.
Right.
Hold the line a sec, Quilla. Which is, this is with Remy, isn't it? So there's Remy. No damage reported. No advantage gained.
Yeah, it was just wiggling on the brakes and a bit of a lock up, which.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if there's no advantage and no damage.
Yeah. So that is an NFA. Mm-hmm. Myself.
Oh.
And Mark Cooley at 314. Just that one there. Yeah. Evil.
We'll move on.
We'll move on. Brian Gillis at 326 with Morn. It's that one. No damage reported. Just show it from both. So that's fine.
Again, it's another one that would have, because it showed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Damaged it.
Alistair and Timmy at 332 and then 336. 432 and 436.
Oh, there we go.
Just that one, and then that one.
Yeah.
I think that officially goes down as rubbing is racing.
Yep.
5:28. Brian Gillis Morn. Brian. 5:26. No damage reported.
Oh, right. That was it.
That was that one. Um, 5:54. Daniel Borchett and Paul Garnham. At 5:54. Let's just move that out of the way. So this is one we need to clarify whether it's a dive bomb, because there was contact because he was coming away from just before the apex, wasn't it? So right, so the new definitions which I've actually written in this morning, the rules and regulations, is for the clarity. A first gear corner is the baseline, which you would need to 100% be deemed alongside going into a first gear corner. The braking zone must be deemed alongside going into the braking zone for first gear corner. This is a first gear stroke second gear corner, depending how you drive, I suppose, what car you're in. So the driver trying to overtake would need to be deemed alongside before the car he's trying to overtake turns for the apex. And to define a car turning for the apex, previously would have gone off, worked with Cookie on this, the steering input seen on the steering wheel. But that is not how we're doing it from now on, because a small input on the steering wheel can actually have a big effect on the trajectory of the car. So, and this one is a good example for that, because
you're already steering, but it's to straighten it up here.
Yeah, so he's already turning right, but the ruling is now when the car physically changed trajectory toward the corner after being sort of straight. So he's straight there, and he's coming away from the. So that would be the point of when.
Yeah, it was down at that pale patch in front of him there.
Yeah, so he's straight here, isn't he?
Yeah,
and he's
turning
away there. So Paul would need to be deemed alongside at this point for it to be classed as a legal move. And we can clearly see that he's not. So that is classed as a dive bomb. Now, there is no damage reported from the contact. So keeping it in line with the new changes, I am in the thought process of that it's a penalty for the dive bomb because there is contact there.
Yeah.
But not for an avoidable incident for the contact, if you see what I mean. So it's just the penalty for the dive bomb that he's penalised for, because there isn't any physical damage.
Which, is a sturdy or robust, shall I say, contact. But
yeah. So from the penalty that was originally given, it is a less penalty. It is still the first lap, however. So it would have been normally just 5 seconds for a dive bomb, because this first lap it's doubled to 10 seconds. First lap, 10 seconds for dive bomb. plus 1 license point. Right, and the change in the ruling also helps a bit more of a visual gauge for people, doesn't it? Because if you can see the car's just changed direction and he's turning, the movie's not on. So right, now this is the interesting one, isn't it? So Paul Gardner and Remy, and then Daniel Borchette. So at 6:04, so it's just at the end of this lap.
Next corner.
Yeah. Right. So there's 2 contacts, just separate incidents. There's the one with Paul and Remy, and there's the one with Paul and Daniel. So if we break it down first of all for the one with Paul and Remy, there's no damage reported.
Right. So Paul spun it up there, and Remy's got the run. Was he far enough along?
Yeah. So was
Is what
Remy?
Sorry.
No, yeah. So was Remy deemed alongside before Paul starts turning for the corner for the apex? Oh, come on. Here we go. Right. So we need to judge when.
Yeah.
Which I think is that turn there, isn't it?
Yeah. I'd say yes on that.
So that's the point he's turning, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. I do love it when the replay just lets go.
Yeah.
Right, so he's straight there. And he's... Right. Let's get on board with Remy. Let's see if we can find the...
Yeah, there.
Yeah.
It's alongside.
Yeah. Yeah, so as we said before, our job is not to judge whether we think the move was on or anything like that, because that 3 wide very rarely ends well. But
it's quite a fast corner as well.
It is a very fast corner, isn't it? 4th or 5th gear corner, and but at this point, Paul's between a rock and a hard place, really.
Yeah.
But has to leave Remy room because he's absolutely entitled to be there.
Yeah.
So that
at that point, basically, was it Daniel on the outside?
Yeah.
You know, as Paul can't ignore him, but sort of has to really, because Remy's up his inside, so he can't just turn across. But also as we move through it, but we'll look at Daniel's part in it. But he's alongside.
Yeah. So that's it's a hard one for Paul, as we discussed before, because unless he fully backs out of it by just dabbing the brake and then letting them two go through, he's in a no-win situation, really.
Yeah.
So it's
it's either he's going to make contact or contact's going to be made with him. One or the other will happen.
Yeah. So it's the first lap. First lap, 20 seconds or avoidable incident.
Can you pause it?
Hold on a second. So it's 20 seconds for Paul for an avoidable incident, because obviously an advantage was gained as Remy ends up over here. Now we need to look at the second contact, which was Paul and Daniel. So we don't need to look at whether Paul was themed alongside, because it was alongside all the way through the corner.
Yeah.
Did Daniel leave room? He's turning straight for the apex, isn't he?
Yeah.
Which leads nicely onto the radar. The radar is mandatory. You must have your radar on, and we will take it as everybody has their radar on and is using their radar, because there's no reason you can't see that you are 3 wide here and you're still turning for the apex. So you shouldn't be turning for the apex even if you're 2 wide, let alone if you're 3 wide. And you've got all the room in the world on the outside, and Paul's down the inside of you, Remy's gone down the inside of him, so you need to bite the bullet and run a lot wider. You can't, there's no excuse that you didn't know where they were there. You see them. Just turning straight across. I mean, to be fair, Paul came out of it quite well, but this is on Daniel.
Good save.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it was an excellent save. He did really, really well, actually, when you look at it. Nice bit of car control. But yes, Daniel reported suspension damage, engine damage, lots of wing damage, as we saw, but it was on himself. Now, I think this was race ending for Daniel. So I've got a new bit for these as well, because we can't add a time penalty to somebody if they don't finish the race, of course. So it's an increase in license points because it was a DNF. So Daniel, it's double license points, 2 license points for first lap. Avoid a ball incident. Right, moving on to me and the start of my arse slapping saga with Dan Birch. 620. No damage reported.
Just a little bump draft into the corner.
Just a little bump draft into the corner. So you need to determine if any advantage was gained over Daniel.
No, and he didn't lose a place or anything like that. You, by the looks of it, backed off a bit to allow him back in front anyway.
Yeah.
So, wasn't the prettiest thing.
Oh, God, no.
As it started a bit of a pinball effect.
It did. So, is that an NFA?
That is NFA.
But poor Jorge. So, which is that? So, there is contact between Jorge and Brian Gillis, but it's picked it up, but it hasn't. It's the contact here that Jorge get suspension damage. But obviously, there's no fault to be blamed for Dan. Because there is mitigating circumstances that I gave him a little push.
Yep.
Robert and Sean at 808.
State.
808 state. Yeah. I jumped forward a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Which is that one there. Alistair and Timmy, 817 and 825.
Couple of little kisses. What's that?
Yeah, and then there's one at 825, which was that one.
Yeah.
So, Dan Birch's arse slapping continues with Cookie at 10:01.
Right.
It's definitely alongside.
Yeah.
Was an advantage gained? No, because he let him back through.
Still there.
Just gave him a little lift.
Yeah.
Continued. Me and Dan Birch. But Dan Birch getting a little bit of a range of mine. There we go.
Yeah.
No damage reported. But look at the damage that's visual damage that's caused.
Yeah.
Because the impact number is high.
Yeah.
But there's no damage caused.
But we think that the impact number's high because of the area,
Yes.
right on the corner.
Yes.
We believe that sort of what it does.
Daniel Christo at 10:09. We've just seen that there. No damage reported as Frankie gives him a bit of a slap.
But again, look at. I mean, we would have definitely had to penalise that on the old rules. I mean, you know, it looks horrendous.
Pushed him away from the apex, visual damage, but no damage caused.
Yeah, and he's still, you know.
Yeah, no advantage gained.
All the rest of it.
Right, Dan Birch and Cookie, 10:14. Cookie reports new suspension damage. Mental. I suppose because it's over the wheel.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of them where it's steering in and
and they kind of stuck together a bit, didn't they? A little bit.
Yeah.
And got pushed wide together. But there's no fault on one there, is there?
No, I mean it's just rubbing his racing. It just has caused some type of. He's turning left, so obviously the front of the tyre would be sticking out. So it sort of like, I suppose it gets the track run ends, etc. It might have just tweaked it or something.
And then your good self.
Shut me gob
then. At 10:30 with Paul Garnham. You report new suspension damage. Same thing, isn't it? It's on the wheel.
Yeah.
It's going to clearly the most delicate
Yeah.
part of the car.
Yeah, back of the tyres sticking out. No.
Yeah. But there's so we broke this down before, didn't we? So first gear corner, to make an attempt at the a move, you would need to be deemed alongside.
Yeah.
Which obviously you're
Officially,
clearly not.
I wasn't trying to make
No.
a move. I have to let you know.
But yeah, you can see you're not. But Paul's left you room, and that's when you nip in, isn't it? Because there's no lunge being made there.
Yeah.
Full control of the car.
Full brakes off.
Yeah. And then Paul leaves you room.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no advantage gained.
No.
Paul's still in front yet, so that's a NFA. Oh, what's gone on there? There we go. Right. Jordan Forte and Timmy 1043. Oh, this dodgy part of the replay, which is that one. No damage caused.
Yeah.
But again, look at the
crumpling of the bodywork. But
yeah.
Again, it's because it's right on a corner.
Yeah.
But it's nice to not have to give penalties because it's not performance impacting or anything like that. It allows for closer racing and all that as we all want.
Yeah. So there's one at 1046 here, which is
it's tiny with rub, isn't it?
Yeah. Mark Cooley and Cookie. 1119. No damage caused.
Oh
yeah. And see, this would have got a penalty before because knocked him offline.
Yeah.
Visual damage, but no advantage gained here because
Mark did a sterling job of
great save.
Controlling the car.
Cookie lifts to let him go and lose his position, but there's no advantage gained for Cookie there. Mark doesn't lose any braces, so under the new
guidelines,
it's an NFA. You again attacking Paul Garnham. I mean, with Paul Garnham. 1155, I think that says. Yeah. Just that one.
Mm-hmm.
No damage reported, no advantage gained. Alistair and Hendrick. 1156. No damage reported, no advantage gained.
Mm-hmm.
NFA. 1218. You again, still attacking Paul Garnham. 1218. No damage reported. However, poor Paul, third time lucky, eh?
I did apologise.
Yeah.
Personally.
So let's just. Yeah, so he's lost places, isn't he?
Yeah.
He waited though. So it's no damage reported, but the advantage was gained to the other drivers. But you did wait. So Gary, 10 seconds reduced. Two, 5. We're waiting. Incident reduced 5 for waiting. 1 license point. Right. Alistair and Timmy at 13:25. Alistair reports new suspension damage.
It's on that wheel, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's a first gear corner.
Yeah.
Was an advantage gained? Was when it. Yeah.
Yep.
So let's break it down. So Alistair would need to be deemed alongside, going into the braking zone.
The camera says he's not.
Yeah, exactly. It's a dive bomb.
Yeah. Fortunately, it's not damaged Timmy.
No.
Was it Timmy?
Yeah, Timmy. But an advantage was definitely gained.
Yeah.
So Alistair. So it's 10 seconds for dive bomb. Causing an avoidable incident. Gaining advantage. +1 license point. Let's just cover the angles off.
Yeah.
Give me a nice aerial shot, please. It's not a nice aerial shot. To be fair, he only made the apex because of the contact with with Timmy, didn't he?
Yeah.
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 Dan Birch and Cookie continue. So this reports new suspension damage for Dan Birch. It's a double contact. So there is so it's the point of contact with Cookie where, which is interesting because there was a big thud afterwards, but that shows the damage from Mark Cooley rather than. So here causes the suspension damage on the rear wheel. Right. So we need to determine if Cookie is deemed alongside. It's a third gear corner, so it's at the point the car changes trajectory turning for the corner. So let's That's this point here, isn't it? So he's
Yeah, it's about there, isn't it? The white line's getting closer
yeah.
to the
So his
side wheel.
his trajectory has changed there, isn't it? So
Yeah.
let's.
Oh, it's close.
Yeah, it's not there though, is it?
No. No, it's still.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's not.
No. I mean, even there, it's not quite. It's not till they get to the white line that.
No.
Yeah, it's in the back wheel, isn't it?
Yeah. So, Cookie. It's 10 seconds. We'll see if he waited 10 seconds for dive bomb and causing avoidable incident. Right, just let's.
Waits for a space.
Waits for space.
Safely rejoins.
Mark's already gone. So it's not classed as waiting for.
Or Dan.
For Dan.
As well.
Yes, I didn't mean Mark, I meant Dan. So we can't reduce it for waiting. So it's 1 license point. So it's 10 seconds for dive bomb causing avoidable incident. That's 1 license point. Now, Dan. Because we've looked at this a few times, we know what's coming.
Yep.
You would have said that caused more suspension damage than Cookie's one, wouldn't you? But it's
the timing shows that it's on the first bit, is it?
Yeah. Which is nuts. But there's no brakes being held and rolling back. So poor Mark. If I can't get to him.
And his exit strategy.
Yeah.
His only exit strategy as well.
Yeah.
Taken away from him. It shows better, doesn't it?
Yeah. So he's trying to avoid, because you're not holding the brakes, rolls back. And Mark Cooley reports suspension damage from it as well.
Yeah.
That's
the one, isn't it? That really shows the.
Yeah.
See all the wheels rolling back.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no
Yeah.
If you hold your brakes, that it doesn't happen. Or even if it does, and you're holding your brakes, you're not at fault.
Yep.
So Dan, it's 10 seconds for not holding brakes, causing an avoidable incident. That's 1 license point. Again, reiterating the point of holding your brakes. Whether it's your fault or somebody's caused you to spin, not caused holding your brakes, you've ended up getting a penalty as well. Right. Timmy. Right. Timmy and Tom Osborne at 13:44. No damage caused. To be that one. No, it was no advantage gained.
Yeah.
No, so that's all good. Gary.
Gary again.
Jesus,
He's a serial offender.
Isn't he? Gary and Sebastiano. Who drives on, takes you out.
See the cat-like reflexes there.
I did, yeah. Sebastian goes over the bump, loses it, gathers it up, forgets to look. Unsafe rejoin.
Hang him.
Hang him. Yeah. Fortunately, no damage reported for you.
It's because of my cat-like reflexes.
Because of your cat-like reflexes, absolutely. But right. So Seb, Sebastiano. 10 seconds for unsafe rejoin. Calls him. Avoidable incident. +1 license point. Right, moving on to Brian Gillis at 13:51 with Danny Moffat. Oh, damage reported. No advantage gained. Next one, Alistair. And Jordan at 15:14. Front suspension damage.
Yeah. That'll do it.
He likes to move there, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does like a move there.
So he's not alongside again, going to the first gear corner. Sends it.
It's not working out very well for him doing that move, is it?
No. But we're not there to judge the move.
So he's spun the rear wheels.
Gets pumped right on the corner.
Yeah. I mean, you can't, as I say.
It's no fault.
It's loss of control, so.
Yeah. No fault
with
Jordan either, so
yeah,
I'm not there to for the move. It's the contact. Right, Timmy and Tom at 16:21. Timmy reports new suspension damage.
Right in the corner. And also, it's already stuff there, so it's the nail in the coffin, probably.
Yeah.
If it reports damage, that's how it's thrown it out of the game. So.
Yeah. Again, there's not
much in it, is there? I mean, okay.
Yeah, so I mean, it doesn't look like a big hit compared to the other stuff we've seen, but
Yeah.
it has caused damage. Yes, it may have been from a weakened area from taps before, but
That's the moment the damage happened.
yeah,
So,
and it's because of the contact. So it's not. It's going to. This might look like the less innocuous one of them all so far, but this is the, and it's caused, but it has caused damage. So we need to be consistent with it.
yeah.
So that is 10 seconds. That's Tom. 10 seconds for avoidable incident causing damage. Plus 1 license point. Right. Robert and Timmy at 1719. No damage reported.
Oh. It's all going on here.
It is. So the interesting bit is for some reason that's not picked up. But we can clearly see.
Yeah.
But right, so that's a Craig error because I can't read.
Yeah.
So this is the impact that causes the damage. I just got the time wrong. So this is the one. Yeah. This is the one that causes the damage between Tom.
So Tom had a temporary reprieve for about a minute, is what we're saying.
So this is the one that he actually, Tom, you get the penalty for.
Yeah.
Which you can probably.
Which sort
understand.
of makes sense.
Yes. My inability to read. Yeah, so that's this is the penalty incident.
Yeah.
The one previously was an NFA.
Yeah.
And so the one between Robert and Timmy, if we carry this on. Right, so okay, let's take these off.
Oh, Timmy's not held his pace and driven forward a bit.
He has, hasn't he?
But is it enough that I think he might have missed him, you know, if Timmy hadn't.
Yeah, that's kind of what we need to break this down into, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So right.
So he's off the racing line onto the loose rubber there, Timmy, at that point.
Yeah, so front of the car is kind of on that rubber line there, rubber isn't line.
It? Yeah.
And he comes forward of that.
Yeah.
And
he would have
probably just scraped through or brushed the front of the car. Yeah.
Yeah. Because look, it's not actually hit him on the front corner.
No, it hasn't. Let's just get that from Timmy's, so we can.
There, it's the furthest back there. He's driven back onto the line.
Yeah. That's on Timmy.
Yeah.
Going to go down as an unsafe rejoin. Timmy. 10 seconds. Fortunately for Robert, there was no damage reported.
Yeah.
So 10 seconds for unsafe rejoin.
But he did stop again, didn't he?
Yes.
So, you know.
But it was an avoidable incident.
Yeah.
That's one license point. Right. Massimiliano Ferrari and Remy at 17:43. No damage reported.
Ah.
Yeah, I remember this one.
Yeah, I remember this one. He hasn't got his neutral protection.
No, he
on.
Goes into neutral, doesn't he? And then
Nails it and nothing happens. And the car behind accelerating.
Yeah. No blame on Remy there.
Yeah, in the settings there is an option to switch on a neutral protect if anyone doesn't know. So you can just bang it down the gears and it stop one unless you then pull the paddles together or whatever to engage neutral, which is quite a handy thing to have.
So these two again at 18:17. No damage reported. So no advantage gained.
No advantage.
Jordan 14 and Sean at 20:38. No damage reported.
Yeah.
No advantage gained. Brian Gillis.
Nice rippled effect.
Yeah. Brian Gillis, Dan Moffat at 21:05.
Oh, a nice little gentle rub.
I mean, it would be classed as a dive bomb. That's not where we're.
No.
We are stewarding. It's the contact, which is.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't obviously reported. That's fine. Sean. I've gone name blind. Sean Timmy 24:43. No damage reported.
I mean, Timmy's lost out quite badly.
Yeah, so let's break it down. So they're side by side, plenty early enough.
Yeah.
So there's no issue with that.
No.
And I can't find a nice side by side. Give me an aerial view. Come on. No.
That
But he's turned for the apex.
Yeah.
He's made the contact.
Yeah. And Timmy can't turn once he's holding that back corner.
And he's lost positions because of it.
Yeah.
Although Sean hasn't.
He's not tried to gain from it, but as a consequence, Timmy
He's lost 2
has
places.
lost places. So they're...
Yeah.
Yeah. Whether he sort of misjudged turning in thinking Timmy was going to clear the back rim.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it there. Yeah, I mean, look, he stayed off the power and sort of like tried to join in behind, but the point is Timmy's lost 2 spaces.
Yeah, absolutely.
The contact. Because just once it touches the rear quarter like that, you can't turn.
No.
So he's fighting to keep hold of it afterwards, and
yep, and lost places because of it. So yeah, so that's it's on Sean. So it's 10 seconds for avoidable incident plus 1 license point. And then the last 2 is yourself.
Oh.
With Remy, Gary reports new suspension damage 2505.
It was an apex there.
Oh, did what?
Yeah,
Alistair
did. Just trying to get on power too early, and it all went horribly wrong.
Yeah. So he's spinning it up.
Look at them lights, though.
Yeah, and there's no fault for Remy. No.
It's one of them, you see it happening, you go, oh no.
Yeah. And the last one in race 1 is you again with Remy.
Yeah.
At 33.26.
This wasn't my finest moment. I sent an apology for this, I believe. In your own time. Oh no, Remy bumped me, that's it.
Yeah.
You're thinking of what I was thinking of.
No. Yeah, no damage reported, no advantage gained.
Yeah.
So that is an NFA, and that's that one done.
Okay.